Okay, I'm here in my kitchen, and on the stove I have some raw sugar in a cast iron skillet because I'm going to make some salted caramel. So it's best to use a heavy bottom skillet because the sugar is going to melt to the point where it kind of starts to change colors, and you kind of want the heat on like a medium high, not too high. And you really have to watch it because once this starts to heat up, it's going to heat up really quickly. So basically, you use 1 cup of sugar to 1 cup of heavy cream, and you use some sea salt flakes, maybe about like a couple of teaspoonsful at the end once your caramel is done. So right now I just have the sugar in a cast iron skillet, and I'm not going to touch it, I'm not going to stir it, I'm just going to let it sit until I start to see that the sugar is beginning to melt, and that takes about 10 minutes depending on how hot your cooktop is. So we're just going to let that sit and watch as it begins to melt. Okay, so see what I mean? Like this heated up pretty quickly. So I just took it off of the heat, and I'm just kind of swirling it around just to kind of let the part of the sugar that hasn't melted yet like get to the bottom of the pan. So I turned the heat down a little bit, and now I'm just going to give this a stir. See, I turned the heat down, and I'm going to give this a stir like this. Okay, so it's not quite ready yet, but it's getting there. So don't put this on the on your cooktop and then go and do something, because your sugar will burn. So you don't want burnt caramel. So see that? Look at that. That's what you want it to look like. Okay, I mean, well, the sugar is technically burned because you're cooking it, but you don't want it like charcoal burned. You want to act like you kind of did this on purpose. So that's pretty much melted. That's how I want it to look. If you want yours darker, you can get it that way, but you really have to watch this stuff, and at this point you have to kind of keep stirring it because it'll just keep cooking and cooking and cooking. So I think I'm going to take this off now. I'm going to take this, I'm going to turn off the heat, and I'm going to move this off of the flame because if not, it'll keep cooking. And now I'm going to add my 1 cup of heavy cream. Now for this part, once I pour the cream in here, it's going to start to sizzle and bubble up, and I'm going to need both of my hands to really stir it super vigorously. I'll show you what I mean. See that? How it's sizzling and bubbling up? Okay, so now I need to stir that. See that? So you just have to keep stirring it. Keep stirring it. So just to show you what this is kind of looking like. So you have to keep working it around and getting it all blended up together. So I'll show you what it looks like after I've kind of have it blended together a little better. Off the heat. Do not put this back on the heat yet. Okay? Okay, so this is still off the heat, and you see how that's kind of starting to thicken up. Now I have a few pieces of caramel in there, but that's okay. I actually kind of like it like that. It's kind of nice to get like little chunks of caramel, like if you're gonna like pour this over ice cream or something like that. So it's not done yet because I still want it to thicken up. So you really have to stir this, and you really have to watch it. So I'm constantly stirring this, and now that you can't see any of the milk anymore, I'm going to add maybe about a couple of teaspoons of the salted caramel. You don't want to add too much because those salt flakes are really big, so you know you don't want to make your caramel turn into, you know, a little bit more salted than it needs to be. Okay, so I have my salt flakes here. So that's about a tablespoon, maybe half a tablespoon. So see, I'm just kind of sprinkling it like that, and I'm just stirring it up. That's it for making salted caramel. So I'm giving this a stir. So you can keep stirring it. You can see how you know, it's kind of starting to thicken up. The longer this sits, the thicker it will become. So you know, you can keep stirring it to kind of make it look a little smoother. So, and it probably depends on what kind of sugar you use too, because I use turbinado sugar, so I use a coarse you know, raw sugar, and I use raw milk, excuse me, I use raw cream too. So, but you know, just to kind of give you a better look, you see that. So look at that, see that? So, and the longer it sits, the thicker it'll become. And what you can do is you can transfer this. You can leave it. Sometimes I just leave this on the cooktop like this, you know, not on the heat, but just sitting out. Or what you can do is you can transfer this to a glass dish, somewhere where you can store it. And you can store it on the countertop for like a day. I typically take mine and I put it into the refrigerator. You know, so I mean, it doesn't last long because it's so good that, you know, you just can't help to think of different things. See, just even right now as the video is running, you can see that it's thickening up. See that? So, you know, you can use this for like if you make caramel cakes or anything like that, and let this sit for a day and let it really get thick, you know, like frosting consistency. Look at that. You know, you can put it on cupcakes. So, and you don't have to put salt in it. I just like the taste of the salted caramel because it adds a little something different to it. See that? Look at that. Okay, so that's it. Quick and easy. Salted caramel for, you know, your ice cream or, you know, whatever other little desserts that you know, you like to have hot caramel on. All right, bye.